Welcome to this special edition of Scientific Audiophile, where we are going to defend Randy, a cheap audio man who's being attacked by YouTubers and by audiophiles for his 10 biggest lies. Some of them, they say, are complete lies and fabrications themselves. Stay tuned.
Lying to you about everything. The accepted truths are not truths at all. Today we're going to talk about the biggest
So the only thing Randy is
lies
doing
in
here
regards
is
to
trying to
hi-fi.
expose
Number
lies.
one.
Let's see what happens.
There is an overwhelming thought process that a speaker must measure linear or flat.
And this is absolutely correct. Unless you're a sound recording engineer who wants to hear nothing but a perfect flat response, these Genelics, Newmans, who are great speakers, are not for you. And this is not what Randy's talking about. He is not knocking on Newmans, and he's not knocking on Genelic.
Even if a speaker has resonance, it doesn't mean it's going to sound bad. That means when the enclosure vibrates, kind of adds to the sound.
It's actually quite well known in the speaker manufacturing community to use resonance as even an additional driver. So you have a two-way speaker and you're not getting the bass response you want. If you make those resonances just right, you can actually create a three-way speaker from a two-way speaker. Randy is spot on here. Resonances are excellent in speakers.
Don't let anyone tell you how a speaker should measure. Oh, so-and-so said this, so-and-so said this. I don't care.
So this guy is Floyd Toole. He spent his entire life researching sound and how a speaker should reproduce it properly. And Randy is right. Floyd is wrong. He spent his whole life researching things that didn't need to be researched. Don't let anybody, including this man, tell you how your speakers should sound.
Don't let anybody tell you what a speaker should measure. There's always going to be someone that says, this sounds like, let's say it's $300. This sounds like a $5,000 pair of speakers. This sounds like a $1,000 pair of speakers. To say that this $500 speaker sounds like a $2,000 pair of speakers, well, that's silly.
And once again, Randy is right. Only an idiot would say that a speaker sounds as good as a $500 speaker or a $1,000 speaker. It's silly, and no serious YouTuber would ever say anything as ridiculous as that.
We're going to talk about how to make this Sony speaker sound like a $500 speaker or even a $1,000 speaker.
And I'd like to add, I agree with Randy here. You can make that Sony sound like a $500 speaker, a $1,000 speaker, even a $5,000 speaker.
Go out and listen to it. You need to listen to it first. No, you don't.
And once again, Randy is completely right. You don't have to listen to a speaker.
If you get the chance, yeah, go listen to it.
Again, Randy is right. If you get a chance, go listen to that speaker.
But it's kind of meaningless.
Randy's right. You just don't have to listen to a speaker.
However, I think it's more beneficial to find somebody that has a decent return policy and to actually be able to listen to things in your room.
And like Randy said, go listen to it.
You need to match your subs. Bullocks.
So many of you have written me saying that between 20 and 200 hertz is so difficult to get the proper response curve from that it's so important to match your subs. But you're forgetting what Randy said earlier. Don't let anyone tell you how a speaker should measure. So go get two different subs. Randy's right again.
You need to match the center speaker to your front, right, and left speakers.
Once again, Randy is right. You don't need to match your center to your left and right speakers.
Now, this is actually probably good advice.
And once again, we agree with Randy. Matching your center with your left and right speakers is really good advice.
Tone controls and the loudness button, very useful, and I still enjoy using tone controls and the loudness button today.
A lot of you properly recognize that tone controls pretty much boost everything from 3.5 kilohertz all the way to 20 without regard to anything else. They just boost the whole section. But once again, Randy is right. Let me show you his frequency response curve. So just look how tone controls fix the response curve of this particular speaker.
So, tone controls and EQs are awesome, and anybody says that they just destroy the signal.
Let me finish Randy's sentence here. Anyone who thinks EQ and tone control destroy the signal are dead wrong. Finish it up, Randy.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they do. But the math works out that I'm generally only listening at maybe 2 to 10 watts max.
Okay, all you cheap audio man naysayers, get ready to get schooled with the math tutorial. Take it away, Randy.
But if you actually do the math, if you take a look at the sensitivity of a speaker, 1 watt at 1 meter is the SPL that speaker is going to make. Even a speaker with low sensitivity is usually around 85. 85 dB is loud. So chances are even 5 watts is going to do it.
So Crown Audio actually has a calculator online that lets you do the math to prove Randy's right, how little power you actually need. You have 1 meter away, which is 3 feet. Most people don't sit more than 3 feet away from a speaker. Who sits 6, 9 feet away? That's just crazy. And top it all off, 85 dBs loud. You want to hit THX standards of 107 max, so you go to 22 decibels for headroom, and you get, okay, problem here is you're sitting way too far away from the speaker. Let's just change that a little bit. And look at that. Watts to spare. Well, of course, it's one of the lies, because Class D is a great sounding amplifier. Randy tells you how and why right now.
Class D sucks. Well, I kind of agree. I kind of mostly agree with that statement. But Class D tends to get a bad rap for good reason. It doesn't sound great.
And I agree with Randy. Class D mostly sucks. So thank you as you listened to my defense of Randy on his big lies in the audio industry, because Randy is right all the time. He knows what he's talking about. He knows math. He knows when he says Class D is a lie and then agrees that Class D is a lie, doesn't actually make it a lie, which means his 10 biggest lies were actually more like 9, but he did agree with a different one too, so more like 8, but whatever. He's good at math, and you should listen to Randy at Cheap Audio Man. He knows his stuff. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video, and comment. We greatly appreciate your patronage.